Hey guys, just thought I'd jump on and share my journey of the smartphone gimbal I bought. It was about 6 months ago, and I decided that I wanted a smartphone gimbal. I wanted to go out and do some shots, and I wanted to stabilize things and get some beautiful nature shots, so on and so forth. So I tried it with my iPhone, just the iPhone itself, and it was just way too shaky, and you didn't get that smooth, that smooth shot you get from a gimbal. So I decided to bite the bullet and go out and buy a gimbal. And I got the Zhyiun Smooth 5 smartphone gimbal. Actually, I bought the 4 before and I wasn't quite happy with it, so I went ahead and bought the 5. It's got some really beautiful features. I'm not going to do a complete review of it simply because, you can go on other channels and they'll go through the top 5 gimbals and blah, 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 and they're a lot better at it than I am. But it is a great gimbal. It's got the zoom in, zoom out knob. It can change to a focus knob as well, which is really unusual for a phone. Different settings. It's got a trigger at the back. The tripod. It really shoots beautiful, stable shots. Now, here was my problem with the gimbal. I shot probably 2 videos with the gimbal. Got some beautiful footage. And then it started acting weird on me. I went to a little town called Gananoque, which is just east of Kingston here, and thought I'd get, some shots of boats and stuff like that, the ferries coming in and some beautiful shots like that. What happened was I started shooting and there was this boat museum, got some nice shots of boats, and then the gimbal just died on me. And I thought, well, that's kind of weird. So I had to pull the gimbal off, or I had to pull the iPhone off the gimbal and start shooting by hand, which kind of ruined the whole day for me. But anyway, such as it is. Went home, charged the gimbal, went out the next day and tried to shoot again, and it lasted, another 20 minutes or so. And I thought, well, okay, from what I've read of gimbals, I know probably I might have it a little out of balance. That's hard on the motors and hard on the battery. So I'm going to go ahead and balance it up because I did have, and if you look at the gimbal here, you can see it really butts up against the rigging of the gimbal on the one side, the iPhone. And I did have a little microphone input, which caused it to tilt on an axis a little bit. So I thought, well, maybe what that's doing is it's causing the gimbal to get out of balance, being hard on the motors and then wearing out the battery quickly. So I went ahead and bought some counterbalances and balanced it right up perfectly, fully charged the gimbal, went out the next day, and it did the same thing to me again. And this time it only lasted about 10 minutes. I thought, okay, I'm going to really charge this sucker up. So I let it charge for like 24 hours, completely off. No strain on the gimbal whatsoever, and I went to my cousin's to shoot a video. We got through that video. It was about a 15-20 minute video, and we managed to get through it. Took the gimbal downstairs and went to bed that night, and all of a sudden there's this god-awful noise in the middle of the night, a rattling and banging, and I thought, is something going on upstairs? Jumped out of bed, and sure enough, it's the gimbal sitting on the table vibrating like some kind of entities in it or something like that. I thought, that's kind of weird. Anyway, I put it back on the charger. Went out the next day, it died again. I thought, okay, I've given enough. I've been patient enough with this gimbal, so I am going to write the company. There's something going on because it was long past the return point on Amazon. Came back, and I should backtrack a little bit and mention that it had done this jerking sensation at times when I've been out shooting. When I was in Gananoque shooting the boats, it kind of would vibrate a little bit, just jerk back and forth for no sudden reason, but I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was just a button I pressed or something like that. At any rate, okay, so contact the company. And I said, this gimbal will not hold a charge. I said, it's past the return point with Amazon, so there's nothing I can do. Maybe you can help me out. Finally got somebody on the chat. And the guy says to me, send a picture. So I sent him a picture. He says, okay, here's what you do. Now, obviously, I think this was somebody in China I was talking to, or somebody, I don't know, somewhere else. Anyway, he said, leave the gimbal charged fully, then turn it on, leave the load on it, meaning, leave the phone on and see how long it lasts. Not the phone going, but just the gimbal holding the phone with the gimbal on. I said, okay, I'll go ahead and do that. And I did that. He said if it lasts about 3 hours, then it's probably okay. And I thought that's a little weird because what I had read, it should last, 8-10 hours, even with a load on it. But I thought, okay, if I can get 3-5 hours out of it, that's fine anyway. Went to turn it back on, turn it off, turn it back on again, no charge. The thing wouldn't even come on. So back on the chat I go, and I said to the guy, look, this thing won't even come on. He said, well, there's probably a problem with the motor, and what we're going to have to do is send it back to Hong Kong. And I said, what? Hong Kong? I said, I'm a creator. I make videos. I can't wait for it to get back from or to go to Hong Kong and get back. That's going to take months. And he said, well, unfortunately, due to COVID and blah, 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 and there's nothing we can do. It just has to go back to Hong Kong. He said, so then I sent him another message. I said, can you not give me another gimbal or give me a replacement in the meantime? Well, send me your bill of sale and proof of purchase and all that jazz. I said, all right. And at this time I was angry. So I thought, okay, I'm going to contact Amazon. And this company refused to budge. You know, they wouldn't give me another gimbal. They wouldn't give me my money back. It had to go, in their eyes, back to Hong Kong to get repaired. And it's too bad because I loved the gimbal. It was a great gimbal. So thankfully, I contacted Amazon, and good old Amazon, bless their hearts. I mean, their return policy and the people there are absolutely fantastic. He said, well, listen, what I'll do is I'll make an exception in your case. I'll give you a shipping, I'll send you a shipping label, send it back, we'll give you your money back. And basically Amazon just said, we'll bite the bullet on this. Lo and behold, I would, sent the company a message, wrote them a review in Amazon, said, I love the gimbal, it was a great gimbal, but the customer care, the helpline, the chat line is just absolutely pathetic. I mean, to go to Hong Kong, come on, give me a break. Anyway, for a $150 gimbal, they would have saved themselves a lot of face, and they would have saved me a lot of, crying and whining and time and effort. But they wouldn't do that. So the bottom line is, yeah, if you plan to buy this Zhyiun, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Smooth Pty Smart Gimbal, I hope you have good luck with it, because it is a good gimbal. And if you get it and it works properly, you're going to have a good gimbal. But if you have to deal with this company, I would not deal with it. I bought another gimbal, and I was sure I did not buy one from that company. I hate to say it. I hate to trash any company. I just hate doing that. But I mean, if they can't stand behind their product, then I mean, it's simply not worth buying. So my recommendation is, do not buy a gimbal from the Zhyiun company. Otherwise, unless you want to travel to Hong Kong to get it fixed. Anyway, thanks guys. Thanks for watching. Just a bit of info for you, and see you next time.